Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar presentation, Patent Lifecycle Management, a deep dive analysis into pharmaceutical patents. I'm Shelley Sombrio, Senior Business Development Manager here at LexisNexis IP. Now I'd like to introduce our presenter, Dr. Sarbani Chattopadhyay, computational biologist with a PhD in biochemistry from the University of Calcutta and an LLM in European IP and IT law from the University of Göttingen, Germany. As a consultant at LexisNexis patent site, she works with clients across the globe in different technology fields. She specializes in searching and analyzing patents, patent landscaping, and benchmarking technologies from a patent perspective. Now I'd like to introduce and pass it over to Sarbani, who's going to review what we're going to be discussing today.
Thank you, Shelley, and thank you for the kind introduction. I welcome all of you to today's webinar. We are speaking on using patent analytics to find out and unravel key insights in the pharmaceutical industry using patent information. Today's agenda is we will be going through how to map directly patents to products using the Orange Book data. We will discuss some of the fiercely fought patent battles regarding pharmaceutical products. This is also a webinar where we would like to highlight the strength, the power of the key patents, that are apparently key patents to the patent owner, and how to what extent they can go to retain that power. And the last part is, obviously we cannot just go ahead without taking this point, is how patents can be the early indicators, if I may say, the most early indicator in finding out the potential contributors to crisis. In this case, it is the COVID-19 treatment methods. So let's start this journey. Our journey starts from USA, but we will take you across the globe, don't worry, but we start from USA. So what we want to discuss is what kind of rights in the pharmaceutical industry that is available to avail in USA by patents and by exclusivity. Let's have an understanding of what does patents do in USPTO grants and what does exclusivity mean. So patents that are granted by the USPTO, they enable the patent owner to exclude others from making, using, selling the invention. In case of pharmaceutical, mainly pharmaceutical product for a limited period of time in exchange for the complete disclosure of the invention. Generally, the patent term is 20 years, but we all know that there are some kind of exceptions that are available. This is what is granted by the USPTO for patents. What is the exclusivity? This is granted by the FDA. And this is also something that prohibits on the approval competitor drugs, even generics, to come to the market after the approval has been accorded by the FDA for a drug or certain supplements. There can be a new drug application, which is called the NDA, or the abbreviated drug application when the generics come in, which is called the ANDA. Now here, the period of exclusivity, it depends upon the kind of exclusivity that is provided by the FDA. So few things when we check both of them, first thing that comes on is both are negative rights. You're preventing others for a fixed period of time from entering the market. Few things which are to be understood already is patents can be issued or they can expire at any point of time depending upon the stipulated period of time for which they have been accorded for, regardless of the approval status of the exclusivity. Some drugs, they can be both protected by patents and exclusivity protection, or either of them or neither of them. And they may or may not run concurrently. So patent protection and exclusivity protection may be there for a common period of time, may not be there for a common period of time. So this is what we need to keep in mind when we go ahead and check for whatever we are analyzing today. What is the Orange Book? The Orange Book is the record of the drug products that have been approved by the FDA under the FDA Act. Now, since 2013, FDA made it mandatory for patents to be submitted. Patents that are related to the product that has been accorded exclusivity by the FDA, they have to be submitted. Now, the information that is submitted is published in the Orange Book. As we already discussed, patents can be concurrent with the exclusivity, may not be concurrent with the exclusivity. In case it happens that patents have been issued after the NDA has been approved for, then what happens? Then the applicant holder has 30 days of time to provide the information, but the information needs to be provided. That's what currently the status is. Few things again to keep in mind. FDA does not publish in Orange Book those patent information that have been unapproved, and also those which are not under the scope of the FDA. What is under the scope of the FDA? The patents that claim the active ingredient, that is under the scope of the FDA because it provides exclusivity for that. The drug product patents, which has composition formulations, that patent is published. The use patents, what is use patent in the US, it's method patents in the EPO, but that is also published if it has been approved, and certain other aspects. So we have to keep in mind that all the patents that is around a drug not necessarily gets published in the Orange Book. But what we can derive from here is the Orange Book can help us to have a direct product to patent mapping. Moving ahead, we will do that today. And for us, the focus is multiple sclerosis. For today, for this part, we are addressing multiple sclerosis. What is multiple sclerosis? It is a condition that affects the brain and the spinal cord. It affects vision, arm and leg movement, sensation, and balance. It is a lifelong condition. There is no cure yet for multiple sclerosis. If you're already wondering if there is no cure, what we are discussing about product to patent mapping, please sit tight. We do have information for you. And it is also that few things also, which is very important, that it's diagnosed in 20s and 30s. So it's a cause of disability in younger adults. And it's a lifelong condition. Please keep this in mind. So it is something, even if not as extensive, as widespread as COVID-19 infection, but it is affecting a lot of people and quite early in their life. So what we do is we want to search for patents that are related to multiple sclerosis that have not only patent protection, but also exclusivity protection. What we have used is LexisNexis Total Patent 1 for this purpose. This is a search tool provided by LexisNexis, and this is the website link. Like any other search software, patent search software, you can search not only for patents, but also utility model and design applications in Total Patent 1. You can not only search for granted patents, but also applied patents. And the main feature, the main USP of Total Patent 1 is its data coverage. This is the data coverage of the search software provided by LexisNexis. I think this is the right time to mention that LexisNexis has been the principal data source provider to the USPTO, not for 1 or 2 years, but for 50 long years, and the association continues. So we can be sure that for any other purpose for which we do patent search, doing it here does give us extensive results. What we are doing today is this. We are searching for the keyword multiple sclerosis in title, abstract, or claims to find out the patents that are disclosing inventions in this area. There is a CPC that I have added with an OR operator. While finding the CPC, I use this lookup table available in the software, and I can put in my keywords here and check if there is any CPC that is connected to the keyword I'm looking for. So I don't have to go to the CPC website to find the related CPCs. I can do that in TP1, which I have done. This is the start. This is my search criteria. And now I have concatenated with an AND operator on the Orange Book application type. So this is either new drug application or this is abbreviated new drug application. I am, for this purpose, searching for new drug application. When I execute this search in TP1, I get 109 records. And this has been sorted by publication date, new to old. And these all have NDA applications. And you see the latest one is 15th February 2022. And the assignee is Biogen. when I go through this, mainly you see Biogen, and the title is Method of Treating Multiple Sclerosis. So this is a method patent, right? We understand that already. There is one particular patent that I want to point out. This is 2013, and whoever is in the master in the pharmaceutical field, you must have, you're already aware of this heavily fought patent in the US. But this is one of those early patents of Biogen. And the title is Treatment of Multiple Sclerosis. In TP1, when I'm going through this, I get the bibliographic information and images. I can click on the pharmaceuticals here, and I can get the pharmaceutical information. So when I click on the pharmaceutical information, I find these. So yeah, we are talking about Tecfidera. Whoever was thinking that she's speaking on Biogen, she's speaking on multiple sclerosis, it must be Tecfidera, you're right. But I still, the classics don't go, they are timeless. This is also one of them. Sit tight with us, you will see a lot of information regarding this. So what you see is that TP1 provides you the information about the product. So the product that is mentioned in the Orange Book, it is here, Tecfidera. The active ingredient is dimethyl fumarate. It is an applicant, it's Biogen. The application number is provided. Obviously, it is a new drug application. Approval date is 2013. The patent is supposed to expire in 2028. The exclusivity is supposed to expire in 2023. So when we discussed at the beginning, the patents and exclusivity may not run concurrently. This is a prime example of that. What you also see here is there is a patent usage code which is provided. There's an exclusivity code which is provided. Now this is, you have to go to the FDA. If you see it, you have to go to another website in the FDA to check what do they mean. Let's take the first, patent usage code. So the patent use code, whatever we are showing you today, and at the last, there is a slide with all the links so that you can use this as a reference for doing your pharma patent analytics. But this is something that you have to navigate through many different websites to check this. So what is patent use code? It is the code to designate what is the use of the drug that is disclosed in the patent. And you see that these are the different codes available. If we check for the code that was for this particular patent, this is U1384. If we check, this is the patent use code. So the Orange Book tells you that the particular patent that we are analyzing, the use code for disclosed in the patent is method of treating multiple sclerosis. So the patent has that use. This is what we get from the Orange Book data. What else do we get? There was an exclusivity code, which is M260. This is what is provided by the FDA, right? If we check that, we have to go to the exclusivity code website. The link is provided here. And there are exclusivity code and definitions, code without numbers, but ours had a number. It had a number M260. So if we check it, this is M260. What does it say? It says that this is dimethyl fumarate for adults 27 to 55 years with relapsing form of multiple sclerosis. So Tecfidera does not treat multiple sclerosis. The exclusivity that has been accorded by the FDA is the relapse symptom of multiple sclerosis. So when I started and I mentioned this, there is no cure for multiple sclerosis. That is true. There isn't any cure yet. What is there is the treatment of the symptom, relapse of multiple sclerosis. That is what Tecfidera is about. This is the information of the Orange Book data that is available through TP1.
Sarbani, may I interrupt with a question?
Yes, please.
We've been asked, out of all the conditions you could speak to today, why did you choose MS?
Very good question, actually. I was hoping that somebody asked this, and I will give you the answer in due course of time. Trust me, I wanted that somebody asked this question. I will answer you, Shelley. Please wait for it. Thank you very much for the question. Moving ahead, what we showed you is what we have brought in from the Orange Book into Total Patent 1. Let's check what publicly available information is available about the particular patent that I discussed about through the USPTO public pair. So when we go to the pair, this is how this looks like. In case you are wondering that this looks slightly different than the public pair that is generally comes up when we go there, this is because we have LexisNexis Patent Advisor extension. Now, I would like to point this out here. LexisNexis IP, with its suite of products, the aim is to partner with IP experts to make their work more easy, to provide them a seamless experience as much as possible without doing as less as possible. So this is a freemium model that is available with an extension. You can add it in your USPTO pair, and you get more information about the patent that you're analyzing. Here, the patent is this one, which is a treatment of multiple sclerosis, the assignee being Biogen. What extra information that you get is the art unit to which the patent belongs to. What is the allowance rate of the art units? 44.4%. Not all patents that have been applied for in this art unit did get granted. And you also see who has been the examiner. This is the examiner of this particular patent that is obviously granted, but the allowance rate of the examiner is 50.8%. So it's not that all the patents that the examiner, applications that the examiner has examined, they were granted. So already intuitively you understand that this patent does disclose an invention which is good enough that it got granted among these low approval statistics. If you have access to Patent Advisor and you click on the application number, it takes you to Patent Advisor quick pair information. Not only do you have the information about the timeline, a number of office actions before this got granted, you also find few more information, which is the PTAB file history. Now, why is this important? Because all of us know when we are looking into pair and trying to find out what kind of opposition and prosecution has been going on, this is a difficult task, but you can have it in here. What I want to point out here is the patent that I am discussing with you, the TechFedera, early TechFedera patent. This has been fought on so much from 2015 to 2019, and have a look at who were opposing them. Not only they were opposed by entities that have legitimate interest, but there's some patent trolls as well. I'm not going to mention or call out anyone, but you can always have a look at it. What you see the outcome is this patent, it survived all these. All the claims were upheld since then up till now. There's a trial is going on. I'll discuss that as well. But this is how this looks like. So already from here, what we are doing, we're analyzing the patent. We do understand that the patent has been fought and it has survived all the oppositions, all the prosecutions. Going ahead, what more can we get from Patent Advisor? You get the information about the patent. You also get the information about the law firm that represented Biogen for this particular patent. This is the law firm that represented Biogen for this particular patent, this important patent of Biogen. And if you look into the law firm statistics, you see that they have an allowance rate of 78.1%. So once what we started from, not a very easy art unit this patent belongs to, that the allowance rate is not very high. The examiner that we saw, the allowance rate is not very high. But the law firm here, Stern, Kessler, Goldstein, and Fox, they have a same 78.1% of success rate. In USA or from any part of the world, if you are trying to find the best match to legally represent you for your invention protection in USA, you can use Patent Advisor with validated statistics. All products of LexisNexis are scientifically validated. They have scientific publications backing them up. This is also one example of it. So this is how this looks like, that this patent, fiercely fought patent, this is important patent, and among the place where you find that success rate is not very high. So obviously, maybe I'm too early to say, but it will be proved that this is a very important patent for Biogen. Let's go ahead.
Sarbani, I have another question,
Yes.
if you don't mind. Are there any other drugs or companies that are focused on addressing MS? Did you find that in your research?
Yeah, thank God I was prepared. Otherwise, I would have been really, it will be difficult to show this. Yeah, you're right. The question is, so much I discussed about TechFedera. So why TechFedera? Aren't there anybody else doing anything in addressing the relapse of multiple sclerosis? If this is your question, you can still use Total Patent 1. You can search for the Orange Book exclusivity code M260, and we can use it as a query and find out if there are any patents there or not. When I executed the search with the exclusivity code, I find there are 9 records. These are the first 3. This is Biogen, Biogen, Biogen with pharmaceutical information. Next three, again, Biogen, Biogen, Biogen. Next three, all are Biogen. So there is no other FDA approved drug that addresses relapse of multiple sclerosis other than Tecfidera. So after this very good question of yours and after this slide, isn't it evident that this is a blockbuster drug for Biogen? And it is dimethyl fumarate, and it's not something of too complicated pharmaceutical composition. As you can see, it was used in the industries for making foods taste sour, and now you see it as an application in addressing the relapse of multiple sclerosis. So yes, this is a blockbuster drug for Biogen.
Thanks, Sarbani. And they're likely not only protected in the US. Is there a way to find out where else they might have protection throughout the world?
Absolutely. So this is also something which, when we are discussing about pharma patents, we need to address this issue as well. That are these patents protected only in one country, or what is, how much widespread a protection the patent owner has sought? And this is also important because it does give us an idea wherever this is not protected, generics can make it. So this is also something, especially for pharma patents, which is very important a question to answer. In order to answer your question, what can I do is I can still use total patent one, and you can always search for the Orange Book product. So I'm searching for patents that are related directly to the product Tecfidera. All the Orange Book that patents that mention Tecfidera can be retrieved using total patent one, this query. I get 15 records, and then I can select it and I can navigate through LexisNexis patent site. It is the patent search cum analysis tool of LexisNexis IP suite of products, from where I can take this question of Shelley's and answer it. In case I have subscription to both TP1 and LexisNexis patent site, I don't have to export these 15 patent numbers and import it into the software. I can use this option and it will navigate directly to patent site. It's not something that I have to do. Before navigating to patent site, probably this is the right time to give you an idea about what patent site is all about. The LexisNexis patent site methodology, it is not only a scientifically validated, but a patented methodology. Software introduced in hardware is patentable in the US. This is an example. Now, what do we do? And what do we do with the methodology in LexisNexis patent site? Few things to be take already into account is all the patent documents which has exactly the same priority parameters are grouped into one patent family. The hypothesis is simple patent family, that is the definition. All the patent documents that are grouped into a simple patent family, they technically cover one single invention. So to answer Shelley's question that these Tecfidera patents that have a US member, what are other documents in that patent family? This is what we are going to find in the LexisNexis patent site. The quality assessment is the major goal of the methodology of LexisNexis patent site. It is not only the number of patents that is owned by an owner, it is also the quality of the patents that is owned by an owner that makes a difference. That is what LexisNexis patent site methodology states. How do we assess the quality? We use the forward citation based indicator called the technology relevance, and we use the market coverage, the expanse of the protection sought for the market, called the market coverage. We combine them to get the quality indicator, which is called the competitive impact. For any set of patents, be it a patent portfolio or any other set, if we add up the competitive impact of each of the patent family in the set, the sum is called the patent asset index, which is the total portfolio strength, maybe of a patent portfolio, maybe of a set of patents. So this is what is the methodology all about. One more important point is patent site works at the current ultimate owner concept. So if there is any change of ownership, the patent is displayed and all the KPIs are calculated as if belonging to the current ultimate owner. All the information also is represented like that. And you'll see that in the use case that we will be discussing. Now to answer Shelley's question, those Tecfidera patents that are protected in USA, where else are they protected? So let's now navigate to LexisNexis patent site to check it. So those 15 patents that were protected in USA, they are this active product Tecfidera. This is the protection strategy of Biogen. Not only are they protected in USA, but extensively protected in the rest of the world. This is not surprising, but this is something which is very important to take note of by the competitors, by the generics, as well as Biogen itself. So this is what you can get when you go into LexisNexis patent site. However, if you remember when we discussed that patents that are in the Orange Book, they are only those that are under the scope of the FDA. Not necessarily, these are the only patents that protect the different aspects of the drug. There are other patents as well. You can use patent site to search for those. So what we did is dimethyl fumarate, addressing multiple sclerosis, current ultimate owner Biogen. When we search for it, we find that the filing statistics of those patents are like this. The first filing in any patent family started in 1995, and the latest filing is in 2020. What does this signify? Most of us know, but this is how desperate Biogen is trying to protect different aspects of Tecfidera. If you remember, when we started in Total Patent 1 in USA, the latest publication was 2022. So it must be a family of here which is recently filed. But it's still filing recently. So you get this information from LexisNexis patent site. We already saw the PTAB file history, so we know how fiercely this was fought in US. What about the other? Because patent site takes in all kinds of information from the rest of the world. So this is the opposition data, not the litigation data. This is the opposition data. It's available in the EPO and the USPTO. And these are the entities that had opposed Tecfidera patents. You saw coalition of affordable drugs in US. They have also opposed them in the other parts of the world in the EPO. And interestingly, you will see that you find here Biogen. So the question may come up. So Biogen opposed their own patents. Is it true? Please remember when I said LexisNexis patent site works at the current ultimate owner concept. So what's the story behind this information? Let's check. This is the Biogen patent that was opposed. This patent, you see the first filing was in 2008. It discloses dimethyl fumarate or monomethyl fumarate, the composition to be administered, and it does say that it is addressing multiple sclerosis. Who opposed this based on what? It was opposed by Forward Pharma, which based on their patent that had a first filing 2005, where they said that they have disclosed the daily dosage form of dimethyl fumarate. So effectively, if this opposition is accepted, this patent goes invalidated. This is the patent that is protecting Tecfidera. In case this goes invalidated, the drug loses the novelty, they have to take the drug off. This is where Biogen was standing when this opposition happened. What they did was they didn't even wait for the patent dispute to be resolved. They went ahead with a 1.25 billion, and they paid it in cash, by the way, with Forward Pharma. And what they wanted was to have access, ownership to all their patents. That's what they went for, irrespective of the outcome of the legal patent dispute. So, and there were press release from the website of both the companies. Biogen said that it has went ahead and have a 1.25 billion payment to have Forward Pharma patents. Forward Pharma also mentioned, and it did mention, that they will pay extra royalties if the patent dispute gets settled in the favor of Forward Pharma. So effectively what happened is this patent, which was opposed based on Forward Pharma patent, now also belongs to Biogen. And patent site works as the current ultimate owner concept. So that's why you saw Biogen being opposed by Biogen in patent site. But this is EP355 patent. In case you're wondering what happened to the dispute, this happened to the dispute. You saw already in the PTAB that all the claims were upheld. So Tecfidera patent did survive. And as you see, even in the federal circuit in the US, it did survive. So it was upheld, the PTAB decision by the federal circuit was upheld. 355, this patent, this was revoked by the EPO. So Forward Pharma lost the case. 1.25 billion cash payment to Forward Pharma by Biogen was for nothing. But that's how it is. So that's why we said we will let you know how important these key patents are for the patent owners. However, if you remember, I had mentioned it while I was walking you through that the exclusivity of one of the Tecfidera patents was to expire in 2023. So the generics must be gearing up to bring a generic form of Tecfidera to the market, which is true, it is, aren't it? And and Biogen tried level best, but I think most people know that Mylan has won the case, and so they are going to bring generic of Tecfidera very soon to the market. This is Tecfidera kind of a story which you could unravel using LexisNexis IP products.
Thanks, Sarvani. Just to kind of circle back, is it just Biogen and Forward Pharma that are addressing MS, or are there others out there?
So it's a good question, and something which it's also required to be answered, because this kind of fiercely fought battles is the barrier that high that nobody is venturing into the market. And when I'm answering Shelly, I have taken up a more focused approach, which is which are the small emerging players? Are there any small emerging players who are targeting multiple sclerosis? Is there any kind of other kind of inventions even happening? And if you want to really unravel these, how it can be done using patent analytics. Few things which have to be done differently. Underlying hypothesis to identify path-breaking inventions. One thing is, in case even a small startup has brought in an invention which is a key invention, it will get cited as a relevant prior art. You just can't say that it can't be. It will be cited as a relevant prior art. Few other things, small players who are venturing into this field and protecting and patenting their invention, they may not be able to protect it as extensively as the established players, though they should, but they may not be able to. And the small startups, they can't have as diversified a portfolio like Biogen. They may be focused only on multiple sclerosis or one or two diseases. It can happen. If we have to take these into account and translate this into patent site, what can we do? What we do is we take the forward citation based indicator as a standard. We exclude the effect of market coverage, and we use the quantitative focus, the share in the total portfolio size of the owner into multiple sclerosis in this case, to do the ranking. What we get here and what you see here is this is the forward citation based indicator in the y-axis. This is the portfolio size of these patent owning entities in multiple sclerosis, and the ranking is by the quantitative focus. What you see here, if a reading example, there is one company, ImStem Biotechnology. It has what, 2 or 3 patents that are targeting multiple sclerosis. You see that these 2 or 3 patents are the only patents they have. So their focus is 100% to multiple sclerosis. We have used a very stringent search strategy for this. I have searched for the keywords in only title and abstract, not those where in claims multiple diseases, one of them being multiple sclerosis was mentioned, because I wanted to find out who are the ones who are directly, totally focused on multiple sclerosis. I've highlighted a few here: ImStem, Azurity, Alkermes. So ImStem is 100% focused on through patents on multiple sclerosis. Azurity, 11.36% of its portfolio is in here. Biogen is 10%. Alkermes is 5%. Do you see any other established players here? You don't, because they have a diversified portfolio. If you take the latest news, this is 2021 news. ImStem announces the first MS patient. And this is not dimethyl fumarate or any chemical compound. This is human embryonic stem cell based treatment, proprietary method, so patented method, using trophoblast intermediate stage. Azurity has bagged FDA nod for grape flavored multiple sclerosis drug. And Biogen and Alkermes, they announced, this is 2019, another drug which is Vumerity. This is not dimethyl fumarate, this is diroximel fumarate for addressing multiple sclerosis. In case anybody is wondering that when I started the search in Total Patent 1 using that, did I retrieve these patents? I have kept a slide to confirm. So yes, when we search for multiple sclerosis, CPC related to that, and new drug validation, and if you search for the product Vumerity, you see that yes, you do retrieve these 3 patents, which are Alkermes Pharma patents. So yes, there are companies, small entities entering the market and probably bringing some different ways of addressing multiple sclerosis apart from the one that is already there. This is what we have about multiple sclerosis. Now to answer Shelley's question, why did we choose multiple sclerosis? There's a reason for it, and the reason is very close to our hearts, all of us who are working in NIP. I'll tell you why. Multiple sclerosis, as you can see here, there's a quote. living with multiple sclerosis can feel like being stuck in quicksand for some patients. They do lead to depression, and there are suicidal thoughts that come up when you are diagnosed with MS. The thing is this, and remember, MS is generally starts early in life, so it's in younger adults, so they lead to suicide and depression. This is something which we have to take into account. We are all speaking of sustainability. We are all speaking of a more sustainable future. One of the major initiatives taken by is the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals framework, where they say meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. These 17 UN SDG goals that they have a framework based on specific targets, indicators, having specific metadata to assess the achievement of the goals. Why they have brought it? They say that achievement of these individual goals will lead to a world where there is no poverty, where the planet is protected, and there is peace and prosperity for all. Leaving no one behind is one of the pillars of the UN SDGs. RELX is a signatory of the UN Global Compact. LexisNexis has been a contributor. LexisNexis IP has also joined the initiative. LexisNexis patent site has mapped globally patents to the UN SDGs based on the framework of targets, indicators, and the metadata. I'll walk you through and I'll tell you why I chose multiple sclerosis. One of the goals is good health and well-being, SDG 3. One of the targets is to promote mental health. The indicator for this achievement of this target is the suicide mortality rate. The metadata says that is the World Health Organization, which is the data operator for this indicator. And they say that mental disorders, depression, they can lead to suicide. LexisNexis has mapped mental health to UN SDG 3. All patents that address mental health are expected to be mapped to SDG 3 as a potential contributor to address mental health. The World Health Organization has acknowledged this, that the inclusion of mental health in the Sustainable Development Goals play an important role. And you see, it has mentioned suicide is the fourth leading cause of death among 15 to 29 years old. Multiple sclerosis is a disability starting in younger adults. This is a very proud moment of me, for Shelley, for all of us in LNIP when we show this to you. Multiple sclerosis patents that are mapped, they map to UN SDG 3 and 12 based on the mental health, based on assistive technology in transportation, assistive technology, and medical prosthetics. So this is an infallible, undeniable proof that those entities that are innovating and patenting in multiple sclerosis, they're contributing to a more sustainable future. This is the reason we chose multiple sclerosis, to show you that all innovations can be towards a better future.
Thank you, Sarbani. This makes this whole presentation much more meaningful. So thank you for sharing that. And let me just take a second to say how proud I am to work for a company like LexisNexis that has invested in the resources, the time, the people like you and the rest of our team of brilliant PhDs to align patents with areas of technology that align here. So very good work to you and the entire team.
Thank you. And as I said, LNIP's motto is enabling the advancement of humanity through innovation. We are not leaving any stone unturned to find out where innovation is bringing in tangible steps towards a sustainable future. This is what we wanted to speak on regarding multiple sclerosis. There's another point, another field that we want to point out. And this is, I should not and I cannot go ahead without acknowledging the contribution of our clients who are the ones who teach us how to innovatively use LexisNexis IP products. For the last 2 years, we have learned from our clients who have used LexisNexis IP products to do patent analytics for crisis response, for finding out the contributors to PPEs, to medical ventilators, to vaccines, even to COVID-19 treatment methods. This is the first time we are we are very proud, we are very happy to show you how patent analytics can be used even to find the potential contributors to the COVID-19 treatment methods. Because at some point of time, we have to live with this disease. It can't be that get vaccinated and nothing is, you have to have a cure of it. And it is time that we take this into account as well. When we move ahead, before I even show you the result, I want to even describe a bit the search strategy to find out the potential patterns that can be key patterns regarding this. In crisis response, the search strategy is not to have an all-encompassing strategy, to have all the patterns that are related to the search. This, and we have learned this from the clients who have taught this us. Thank you very much. This is something which we will continue throughout. Uh, what is important is to keep the search for key patterns, not for all patterns. Why key patterns? Because you need immediate action. You need to find those who already have the background, the R&D, the resources, and the knowledge, and the patentable or patented invention to jump into to address the crisis. So we are not searching in title, abstract, or claims. We are searching in title or abstract first. We are not searching for or on the IPC or CPCs. We're using and on the IPCs and CPCs. So you see, I have got only 635 patent families when active and inactive. Patent side methodology only takes active families into account, but I've still included inactive here to show you, even including the inactive ones, there are only 635 patent families that I have found that can be used in corona treatment methods. What you see on the right side is the quintessential average quality versus quantity graph, where we show you the retrieved key patent owning entities in this specific special search strategy. Some of them I have pointed out: Gilead, Emory University, and Merck and Company. I'm sure, and I think you will agree, all of you will agree with me when you discuss this, that Gilead, this has been in the news. But Emory University, how many of us have learned about it? This was the same when Oxford University was retrieved for the vaccine purposes. This is how important sometimes innovation can be coming from the academia. First of all, Gilead Sciences. Now, because Gilead Sciences have been in the news for long, I wanted to see if there's already something in the Orange Book or not. So what I did is I searched for any exclusivity code that is related to the coronavirus. I did find one, which is D183. So this is treatment of COVID-19 in adults, which has been told here, with positive results of direct SARS-CoV-2 trial. So this is a typical, a very strict regimen. And the idea was, is there anything already there? So if you search in total patent one, you see yes, and this is a publication, it is 2022, very recent. And who it is? It is Gilead. And if you check the pharmaceutical information, it is remdesivir. Have been in the news for long, and you see that it is now Orange Book application being accorded that yes, it is to treat COVID-19 patients, adults. Now, what does Emory University and Merck doing here? I have brought in a snapshot. I have directly brought in a snapshot from the patent site software to show you. Because I spoke quite a bit on the search strategy, you will see the reflection here. The retrieve patent families, they are directly pointing out to the infections that are the invention is addressing, the family of viruses. Coronaviridae is already here. So this is the patterns we are looking for to find the potential contributors. What you see, Emory University, it is nucleotide and nucleoside therapeutic composition. So RNA or DNA based composition to treat prophylaxis of viral infections, one of the virus family being coronaviridae. If I go much more into details, you see in 2021, Emory University and Merck, both of them are joint co-applicants in one of the patents. Also, Rome was not built in a day. It's just not that they overnight did it. They started from 2012. So, and why I'm saying this is because we have done a webinar where we have discussed whether TRIPS waiver is helping innovation or not. Yes, you do need there are specific cases where patents can create barriers, but you also have to accept the fact that, and we have showed it in the webinar that we did, that GSK, Sanofi, J&J, they have been researching and patenting in vaccines addressing these related viral families since long. And that's the reason they could bring the vaccines to the market to help us go back to the normal lifestyle, which we are now venturing into. Similarly, even in the treatment methods, these things didn't happen overnight. It had been going on for long. So if you check the news about what we get, this is also something, a word that is making quite a bit of round nowadays, molnupiravir. Now, this is the drug that is now, and this was developed at the Yemen University. Unlikely, not a pharma company, but a university, but they did it. And this was invented there. And on December 23, 2021, the FDA had given emergency use authorization for treatment of COVID-19 to this particular treatment method. What is Merck doing here? Emory, it supports a medicine patent pool. What is a patent pool? We are going to speak on that as well. And license agreement with Merck regarding the treatment of COVID-19 using molnupiravir. What has Merck done here? The humanitarian crisis. India is among the countries that requested for TRIPS waiver. I'm an Indian, by the way, but I still think this is a thing to take into account. Amid the humanitarian crisis, Merck announced voluntary licensing agreements with 5 Indian generics manufacturers to accelerate the access to molnupiravir for the treatment of COVID-19. So if you don't have TRIPS waiver, you still can have access to these kind of humanitarian efforts being taken. And this is one of those efforts that has been taken. And science has been there. Science has taken the society forward in case for diseases that are not as infectious as COVID-19, diseases like multiple sclerosis, or for diseases as infectious as COVID-19, science and research that has been going on, they have brought in favorable outcomes, and patents are an indicator to do that. We wanted to send this message across that in pharma patenting, these information can be obtained using patents, using our products. And we do hope that we could send the message across at how important and how interesting these insights can be. I thank everybody, and as promised, there is a link showing every resource link that we have used today.
So any last closing comments from you?
This is the first time that we brought in all our products together. This is also, I don't know whether I'm allowed to say this, but the thing is, we want, and this is something which I'm looking forward that this does happen, that we want IP experts to manage their entire patent life cycle using LNIP products. Not as like it's a good, obviously it's a good thing for us, but also to make your experience seamless. Searching for patents in LNIP products, checking for who is citing you using LNIP products, checking for opposition and checking for legal representation, possible options there using LNIP products. Not only does it mean that you don't have to go from one to another, but it also means that among what internally also the communication gets more seamless. There are various, and we know that, we do understand that there is an R&D in pharmaceuticals who are doing the R&D. There is an IP department, there's a business unit department. All of them need to work in synchronicity with each other to be able to bring to the world something that can change the world for the better. And I think we can say that LNIP wants to be a partner in this. We want you to be able to do it more easily because you have more other important, difficult tasks to do. And we do hope that at some point of time, we are able to help you in this, assist you in this. As a consultant, as I said, that whatever we are learning from our clients, how they're using it, this is outstanding. This is really enlightening for us as well.
Thank you, Surbani. I'll just add to that 3 of the points that you showed during the presentation that stand out to me as the new Orange Book data inside of Total Patent 1, the Patent Advisor extension that shows the examiner statistics and more analytics inside of public and private payer. And then lastly, and most importantly to our hearts, the mapping of patents to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So again, well done today. Really appreciate your time and the effort that you put into this. We'll let everyone have a few minutes of their day back. And again, please follow up with us for any questions that you have, and we look forward to those conversations. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks, Sarbani.
Thank you very much.